Hi, welcome back to another episode of Three Guys, One Mic. I'm Aaron, joined by my two lovely co-hosts,
Jeremiah
and William.
And today we're going to talk about our reactions to what was a disappointing Super Bowl, in my opinion.
To say the least.
To say the least.
Yes.
Future Tom Brady, the GOAT, and the kid, Patrick Mahomes. So it's a disappointing 31-9 loss. Tom Brady got his 7th ring. Mahomes it just looked sluggish from the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
And all three of us are going to give our input on the game. And I'll let Jeremiah start off here.
Oh, I'd love to, Lil Man. Thank you so much for that. So like you said, 31-9, right? No touchdowns. That's phenomenal. So let me go for the categories, right? I'm a big statistics guy, big category guy, right? So the Bucs led in time of possession, which I called. They led in the first downs, they led in rushing yards, and they led in yards per play. All right. Here's what the Chiefs led in. They led in total yards, you know what I mean? Because they had to come back from behind, right? That's reasonable there. They led in passing yards, had to throw the ball more. They led in penalties. Yeah.
That was abysmal.
They ran more plays than the Buccaneers, and they had more turnovers than the Buccaneers, right? When you look at that, something that stand out, right? The Chiefs led in penalties and turnovers, two things that you don't want to lead in, right? So let's go to the stats, right? Statistics, right? Some advanced stats for you. So Tom Brady at 132 QBR, which is the highest ever recorded for a Super Bowl quarterback. I mean, for him,
That's pretty good.
Yeah. 72% completion percentage, right? No turnovers, right? Clean game, clean cut game. What you want to see at Tom Brady, 3 touchdowns, right? Let's look at this guy named Patrick. I don't know. This doesn't sound pretty good. 56 QBR, 53% completion percentage, 2 turnovers. Hey, look, man, doesn't that guy Patrick, doesn't he have like that all-pro tight end, that all-pro wide receiver, right? He does, right?
I think so, yeah.
That first-round pick at running back? Oh, okay. And you know he scored 9 points? That's phenomenal to me. Let me bring up a stat here. Who do you think this quarterback is, all right? Playoff quarterback, okay? 85 QBR, 6% completion percentage against this same Buccaneers defense. Who do you think that is?
Aaron Rodgers?
No. You know who that is?
Oh, what's his
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke. Way to go, kid. He's putting up better numbers than your MVP. Your MVP? That's insane. That's... Whew. Let me continue
Your
here.
MVP?
Let me continue here. Rob Gronkowski, 6 catches, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. Phenomenal game. Matthew Knight, if you're watching this, you told me it wasn't going to be good. You told me Gronk's passed. I argued otherwise. Went to Disney World, right? Can't ask for more. Now, let's look at playoff Lenny here, right?
Yeah.
God.
Leonard Fournette, don't call him Lenny, big guy. Be sure you. Over 130 all-purpose yards, you know what I mean? He had 4 catches, 46 yards. He's never really been like a receiving back, but this year he definitely turned it up a notch, right? He added that to his game.
Chip on his shoulder.
Yes, there you go. 16 rushing attempts for 89 yards, right? Phenomenal player. What you want to see, okay? Let's look at the Bucs defense, right? 3 sacks, 29 pressures. The phenomenal number here. Patrick Mahomes only attempted to throw the ball 38 times. That's insane, Lamont. That's insane. 2 interceptions in the second half alone. Mahomes ran for... this is an interesting stat. I think you guys saw this one.
Yeah.
It was an advanced stat. Mahomes ran for 497 yards, avoiding the rush. 497 yards. I don't even think Lamar's ever done that in my life. You know what I mean? Like, it's... Yeah, that was... Oof. That's atrocious. If Patrick Mahomes bought them like any watches or anything like for the linemen, he's going to confiscate those back. Yeah. I think the Buccaneers set the tone on both sides of the ball early. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
On the Bucs' third drive, that's when things started to click. Right? Here's the game plan. Here's the checklist, right? That I wrote this down before, and I was like, this is how you're going to win the game, okay? You got to double Hill, you got to chip Kelsey, you got to get to quarterback, and you have to win the time possession. They did all 4. They did all 4. And that's how you win a football game, plain and simple. I mean, Patrick Mahomes gave it his all. You know, he's a fighter, fought to the very end, right? There still has to be some backlash on this. You know what I mean? There still has to be some backlash. Because he didn't just lose with an average roster. He didn't lose with subpar players. He lost with all pros. And I feel like that's unacceptable. And his defense was stopping Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, there was multiple times where 3 and outs where he got the ball back and he just went 3 and out.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's unacceptable. All right, that's my take on this one, Lamar.
I say you go.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. So, as we all know, yes, Patrick Mahomes played atrocious. It was horrible to watch.
Yeah.
Yes, he was missing 3 offensive linemen.
Mm.
But like I said last week, I thought that the Buccaneers were gonna, just drop everyone in coverage, trust in the interior defensive linemen. I think they did that. Maya said they got, I believe, 29 pressures, which was a Super Bowl record, 3 sacks, and then Mahomes ran for damn near 500 yards, scrambling. And it's just Mahomes ran. Oh yeah, my bad. You said that already.
No, go.
He was running for his life. That O-line just didn't. Yeah, they had some vets up there. Like I believe the center was Wisniewski, something like that.
Yeah.
Wiley, and then Remmers. He was the offensive tackle that was out, right?
Mike Remmers. No, Mike Remmers was playing.
Mike Remmers was playing. Yeah. They had some vets up there, but it's just the Bucs D-line, like Maya said, they wanted it more. It was just no stopping them.
Yeah.
I got to give credit to the Bucs defense. They put on for their city. I totally forgot the Super Bowl was played in Tampa. Yeah, I feel stupid for that. But they they only blitzed 9.6% of dropbacks that Patrick Mahomes had.
Yeah.
And that was an all-time low for a Todd Bowles-led team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they trusted the front 7. And Patrick Mahomes was only 10 for 22, 50 yards, and 2 interceptions outside the numbers. And we know this Chiefs team for being, deep balls down the middle, post routes to Kelsey, out routes, all that stuff like that. It's just all outside the numbers. You never really see them go inside unless it's like to Kelsey, a tight end.
Yeah.
And that just played a big part. The Bucs are playing cover 2 in a 4-3 front. And it's just, I got to give credit to Tom Brady as well.
Yeah.
He played his ass off.
Yeah, 100%.
Deserved the Super Bowl MVP. And as we all know, it was the first Super Bowl he threw a touchdown in the first quarter in.
Yeah.
And Willie mentioned this last week. He said, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember.
Last week.
But he said Tom Brady can't have an average game of a Super Bowl like he's had in all 10 of the games he's played. And he showed that this week. And I just think the Bucs are more hungry to win.
Okay.
Well, all right. So I'm going to start off by saying a great Super Bowl production from the NFL and everything. It looked really nice. I actually like the field. I like the way it looked. And congrats to the NFL for pulling off all 256 games. Because, COVID year, the climate that we're in, we didn't think we were going to pull off all games. But we did. We completed a full season. And congrats to Tom Brady. Fully solidified himself as the GOAT. I don't see anyone who's catching him. And if someone is, they're not born yet. Or he played, or he played against them in the Super Bowl, and Mahomes has some work to do if he's gonna catch him. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
As I said, the point differential between these two teams before the Super Bowl, Kansas City I think had a win differential of 24 points, and Tampa Bay was up in the 90s. So Tampa Bay was blowing teams out. They concluded the season on 8 wins in a row. And then the Chiefs were just skimming by. I think this game is a perfect example of why football is the ultimate team sport. You have Tampa Bay, who was a more complete team, and Kansas City had the more firepower, had the more stars on that team. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones. But other than that, their roster isn't really they weren't as built as well as Tampa Bay. And for the casual football watchers, we know that the Super Bowl brings in a lot of people across the world who don't really watch football like that.
Yeah.
And this game proved why an offensive line is the most important unit. All 3 of us, for a little bit of backstory, all 3 of us in high school played offensive line.
Yeah.
And
you cry, man.
And when the offensive line doesn't perform well, that's the only time they get noticed. And one thing that is crazy to me, and it dawned on me last night. I was like, when I was doing my notes, I was like, wait. Everyone's talking crap about this Chiefs offensive line, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, the other side of the field, Tampa Bay's offensive line looked phenomenal. No one has mentioned them. Yeah. I think Tristan Wirfs graded the highest offensive lineman in the Super Bowl.
Like one sack. Yeah. Through the whole season.
Yeah, but he graded the highest offensive lineman in the Super Bowl since 2006. So that offensive line had a phenomenal game, opening up holes, and no one mentioned them. No one has talked about them. So that just goes to show you how the offensive line is treated.
Yeah.
If you play bad, you're thrown under the bus. You're all over social media. You play well, no one talks about you.
They never get the love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hats off to Todd Bowles. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredible, especially going back to, I forgot, Super Bowl 53 against the Rams, Patriots and Rams.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone thought that Super Bowl was boring. I thought it was phenomenal seeing that defense stop a high-powered offense. And it was the same thing with this, seeing them drop back 3 DBs at a time to stop Tyreek. I'm not going to say it shows that they were scared, but it showed how the skill set that Tyreek Hill has, and that now teams, they know. They have the recipe, the formula to stopping Tyreek Hill. So you're going to have to drop back. And also, and if you want to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to build this kind of defense. Have a pass rush that can get home with 4 and just drop back DBs.
Yeah.
I thought the point of the game where this was lost to be honest, was just under 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Tampa Bay was winning 7-3, and then Tom Brady threw a pass that got tipped, hit Leonard Fournette in the hands, got tipped again, and Tyrann Mathieu got the interception. I thought the momentum was gonna go the Chiefs' way, and it was a holding call, which for me, I feel like if it's this big of a game, and watching that holding, I didn't really. I saw it was both of them just hand fighting. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. But they called the flag, whatever, then they go right down the line, and Gronkowski scores his second touchdown of the game. So I thought right there that was deflating, and then we saw again, Chiefs got stopped before the half, tried to call a timeout to get the ball back, and Tom Brady took advantage. There was a whole bunch of holding calls, PIs on the Chiefs. They were panicking on the defensive side of the ball. And to me, even no matter of what the statue says, I know Maya was saying that Mahomes needs some backlash. I think he does deserve some backlash, but I think this is an example of he's not a product of his environment, because the passes weren't getting completed. But watching that game, I fell for the man. Having a hurt toe that needs surgery, he's gonna get surgery, gonna be in rehab, and running 500 yards and competing some of the most amazing passes that I've ever seen in my life. And they're just hitting people in the face mask, getting tipped and intercepted. Like, I felt bad for him. I felt for him. And then going on, Andy Reid as a coach, I expected more from him. You saw all regular season doing the little fake passes, the underhand tosses to Kelsey. There was no creativity.
Where's all that?
I think they tried to hit the home run ball early in the game. They saw that they were taking it away, and I never saw Andy Reid get his playmakers the ball. I never saw him run a screen for Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman reverse. I never saw him just do a little dink and dunk to Travis Kelsey. I never saw any of that. So, and it doesn't make sense to me, because this is an elite pass rush, probably one of the best in the NFL, and you're not trying to do any quick passes. You're just trying to hit the home run balls. So, I think he was great. He usually has a reputation for being a great mastermind, offensive genius, but
of course
there was no pizzazz to this play calling. They just look flat.
It was simple.
But to conclude my point here, I think these last four teams that were in the playoffs are going to be here next year. I still think those four teams, because think about it, Buffalo's going to get better. They obviously address address their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay is always going to be here. Always seems like they're a lock for 13-3. Tampa Bay's not going anywhere. We saw Tom Brady, age doesn't matter to him. They're going to do anything in their power to keep that roster. And with Kansas City, in 2013, Denver Broncos got blown out, got mollywopped in the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling my entire family this. I was like, they addressed that team because they knew that Peyton Manning and that high-powered offense, one of the best offenses of all time, couldn't get it done. They realized that they needed a defense to win championships.
Yeah.
And Kansas City, if they're as smart as we think they are, they're going to address that defense. They're going to get a way better team, because that Denver Broncos team 2 years later won the Super Bowl on one of the most dominant defenses of all time. So
I thought it was the next year.
No, it was 2 years. It was 2 years after that, because the Patriots went after.
Oh yeah.
Because the Seahawks didn't go back to back.
Yeah.
And
so
the Broncos beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if Kansas City addresses his roster, and Andy Reid comes back and knows that people know how to beat him now, I feel like they could still be a powerhouse. I don't think this team's going anywhere. Just as far as the dynasty part, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, first off, Willie, you just spit fire for like 6 straight minutes.
Yeah.
You hit on a very important key I was gonna hit on. Todd Bowles and Andy Reid both had the same amount of time to game plan.
Mm-hmm.
They both had 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if Andy Reid got himself like a double cheeseburger, like, you know what I mean, like was relaxing. But Todd Bowles came to play, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of the biggest reasons that the Bucs won this game, like you said, man, they would have dropped 3 cornerbacks to cover Tyreek, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have to bring anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille Barrett was getting home, you know what I mean? Like nobody. And JPP, he said everybody was telling me, "Are you preparing for Mahomes?" And he said, Mahomes has to prepare for me.
I heard that.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw him. I mean, first off, Matt had like $1 million worth of jewelry like during the game. You know what I mean? But Willie, yeah, you definitely hit on that one. I definitely think Andy Reid dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Right? It was very vanilla. The throws and the plays that got them here, they didn't use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I feel like they got stunned.
Yeah. I think watching all the Kansas City Chiefs post-game conferences, none of them looked like they were in shock, but they didn't look too worried. which was I don't know if that could be a good thing for them
Yeah.
or like a bad thing because they didn't really take it that seriously. But
Yeah.
like I mean, none of them like I saw Tyreek Hill. He just didn't look like he was like man. We played. You know, he was still being a good sport. We saw him getting like taunted all the fourth quarter and stuff. He was still being a good sport, and like this is gonna teach them a lesson that the regular season you can have all the fun you want.
Yeah.
When it comes to playoff time to the Super Bowl, you need to bring your A game.
Yeah, and it's up to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to rally the team. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, and let them not forget this moment, like that feeling of losing.
Yeah.
And another person who's not getting enough credit, in my opinion, yes, Devin White played amazing,
Yeah.
but I did say they have to put him on Kelsey is Levante David.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Been in the league
Levante
10
David.
years, been a grit and grind player. I don't even know if he's
glad he got his
missed
ring.
more than 10 snaps, like in his whole career. And he just put the clamps on Travis Kelsey whenever he was throwing on him. And I was
Yeah.
just happy for him to see him get a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Happy for the Buccaneers. Anything else?
The whole
guys?
team, actually.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, just like how Little Man said, happy for the Buccaneers. I'm glad that they all got their rings.
The Dominican Sue got
Yeah,
a ring.
Mike
Mike
Evans.
Evans, well deserved.
Yeah, Mike Evans got a ring.
Antonio Brown finally got his ring.
Yeah. Scotty Miller got a ring.
Scotty Miller.
Yeah.
AB got a ring.
AB, yeah. So
That
happy for
feels
him.
weird.
Yeah.
Let that sink in, Steelers fans.
Wow.
John Franklin III got a ring.
John Franklin III.
Shout out
a
Last
lot of
Chance
people
U.
getting
Last
rings.
chance, yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know down below in the comments, guys, what you guys thought about this one. You know what I mean? Let us know